The protective masks many of us are used to wearing are typically more functional than fashionable. But one Chinese designer is showing they don't have to be mutually exclusive.
I am Zhou Li, the design director of the Shandong Sunbird Garment Company. This is the protective suit we designed, and this is the mask we created.
Zhou Li is a Beijing-based fashion designer and owner of fashion brand Dejing. She's been a staple of top Chinese fashion shows. Now Zhou is focusing on a unique creation.
Our idea was to combine beauty and protection for women who want to look good but still be safe.
Zhou's masks are made of high-quality silk with filters inside.
First of all, I paid special attention to the fabric of the mask. The fabric is all customized because the functionality of the mask is very important. You can see it's made of silk both inside and outside. We use 16mm thick silk in summer and 22mm thick silk in winter, so the breathability of the mask is very good.
The designs are exquisite, decorated with intricate floral designs sewn in. That's not just for aesthetics. Some in China believe flowers can help ward off evil spirits.
We want to promote this culture overseas so that women abroad can also share the grace of 5,000 years of our Chinese civilization.
Zhou's company is now producing about 600 masks a day, selling for $16 each. They can't keep up with demand, but they're already looking to the future with plans to expand sales to Europe.
In the future, masks will definitely become a common product, combining fashion with tradition to protect human health. I think all designers should be more creative with this aspect, not just me. I really hope more designers and more people in the fashion industry create their own masks.
A goal that's more than skin deep.
I want people to be able to put on a mask that protects them, makes them look beautiful, brings them good luck, and makes them feel safe.
Frances Coe, CGTN.
New details are coming out about Derek Chauvin, the man that allegedly murdered George Floyd on broad daylight on video. He was charged with George Floyd's murder. Well, it turns out that in the process of negotiating a plea deal, before he was ultimately charged, that's according to CBS News, we're learning new details about the relationship between Chauvin and Floyd, who both worked at a nightclub together. Just listen to what their co-worker told CBS News.
They bumped heads.
How?
It has a lot to do with Derek being extremely aggressive within the club with some of the patrons.
You think he knew who George was?
Yes.
Any doubt in your mind that he knew who George was?
No. No doubt in my mind. He knew exactly who George was.
Let me tell you something. As the daughter of a father who works at one of the best defense litigation firms in the country, to find out that not only the victim and the accused knew each other, had history with each other, and there's more than one video of, remember, before George Floyd's laying on the ground with his neck down, we see allegedly Chauvin punching him. If there was bad blood here, you bump that up immediately to first-degree murder, and that takes with you a life sentence, and that is what I think Erica and Amiee to be held accountable. Excuse me, sorry for that. How do you feel about that, Erica?
We've been knowing.
Yeah.
I honestly, I posted my podcast 2.5 weeks ago. I was reading text messages that were coming in because I was trying to process my feelings along with people who were reaching out to me. And one of the text messages that I read said, "I'm so hurt. I can't help but think that Floyd had something on that something." And that was the speculation from the beginning. We heard on MSNBC the day of the protest, the first protest in Minneapolis, that they worked in the same restaurant. I grew up in the club bar industry. Everybody who works there, especially in security, knows one another. Why? Because you have to, if something breaks out, because you need to know who is from the outside and who's working with you.
Good point.
So the idea that they knew each other means that that was premeditation, in my opinion. Right. And this person, Chauvin, decided that he was the authority figure on the street, so he's been waiting for Floyd, in my opinion. But that just seems like a whole lot of common sense, in my opinion, and that's just how it is, in my opinion.
Images from 2019's Canton Fair show how different the world was one short year ago. The venues were bustling with business professionals, but now all quiet due to the coronavirus pandemic. As an alternative, business owners are promoting their products online for this year's Canton Fair. This company jumped on the bandwagon when the epidemic first erupted in January.
An online Canton Fair enables us to reach out to more customers. Some customers didn't have a chance to come to the event before, but this time we can talk to our customers or our customers' customers. It was unthinkable in the past. Now, those who couldn't come to China before can join us from home.
This meeting room has gathered engineers from Tencent who built up this online platform to make sure online business meetings and transactions can go smoothly.
We're providing simultaneous translation to facilitate communication between exhibitors and buyers. Also, Tencent provides services of video meetings so that business dealers can talk face-to-face. Internet safety is our priority, and we have provided the best team to ensure the safety of Canton Fair's online operation.
Experts also believe that online exhibitions can serve as a complement to conventional brick-and-mortar stores in the future.
Tencent and Alibaba both pitched in for this year's Canton Fair. I believe their services will be constantly upgraded, which will better the experience of online sales and purchases. In the future, online services will prove to be complementary to offline sales.
And this year might be a turning point for Canton Fair to explore new options and provide modern services for global business professionals.
Activists, politicians, and celebrities spoke in support of justice reform. And today we want to bring on another voice that has been just as outspoken against police brutality even before the Black Lives Matter movement began. The Honorable Judge Mathis joins us live. Judge, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it is
under the circumstances.
Under these horrible circumstances, yes, but we are honored to have you here. And of course, to our viewers, you know him from his Emmy award-winning court show. And what you may not know is that when the judge is not busy telling it like it is on TV, he's on the streets as an activist doing the same thing. So Judge Mathis, I just want to say I appreciate your voice. I appreciate your activism. I've already learned so much from you. We just saw thousands lining the streets for Floyd's memorial, but an unarmed black man killed by the police is sadly nothing new, Judge, right? Let's be honest. So what do you?
Be my first comment.
Yep. So what do you think it is about George Floyd's case that is making people this time pay more attention?
I think it was so devastatingly graphic that anyone who has red blood in their veins had to be upset by it, seeing a man die a slow death. I don't think many of us have seen that. I can't watch it after 30 seconds. I can't. Haven't been able to yet. I turned my head. I may perhaps have seen the first 3 minutes the first time I saw it. Haven't been able to look at it since. So I think it's so graphic that it's caused it. And connect that with the fact that people don't think things have changed now. They recognize that this continues to happen. And it was the same type of chokehold, or it was the same thing, choking someone to death, that is really tantamount to slavery. Wow. Or post-slavery, and that being lynching. The only thing different between the lynching that we saw today, because it was the knee on the neck between and touching the sidewalk, is the rope around the neck touching the tree. Wow. And so we're really seeing modern day lynchings. And I think that's a slow death, because when you're hung and lynched, it's a slow death just like that.
Wow, that was a great analogy. Judge, again, thank you for being here. Judge Mathis, all 4 officers involved in George Floyd's death are now facing charges. First of all, do you call this justice in any way? And do you think the officers would have been charged without all these protests?
No, it's not justice at all quite yet. I would hate to think that the protests is the only reason that the process toward justice has begun. But no, justice won't come until what we see as the visual. We can't see any defense to the visual with regard to the police officer. Now, with those standing by, the accessories, in my observation, I saw one of the officers trying to block the vision of others. So certainly I think he was an accessory. I knew the others stood around. Did they have a duty? Did they try and exercise that duty to stop what they saw was occurring? Those are the questions that are going to have to be answered for the others arrested for accessory.
Yes, well said. Now, unfortunately, Judge, it seems that the riots get more attention than all of these peaceful protests, with many calling for more peaceful protests, saying that the rioting only hijacks the message. What are your thoughts on that, especially because there's so much, people are sick and tired?
You know, I've been a part of every major march, I guess, since my all my adult life. I'm a board member, Rainbow Push, national board member in NAACP, and have marched ever since my 21 years old out of college. And what we have begun to see in recent years are people having an agenda to cause violence that will then cause retribution and perhaps militarize the march, in which case we see what those who have an agenda for a violent revolution, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing them hijack, trying to start a violent revolution, which they espouse. And there's several revolutionary groups that do that. And we've noticed them, we've seen them, we've tried to discourage them in civil rights peaceful marches in the past. But they have an agenda, they're trying to carry it out. Those who follow behind them are just some silly, criminal opportunists. They're going in the loop. But in terms of the beginning the violence, it is the agenda and spoken objective of some of the left-wing extremists and white supremacists to start a revolution based on race.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Your Honor, for talking to us. Viewers, you can watch the Judge Mathis Show Monday through Friday. Check your local listings. And for more information about the judge's activism, as well as the Mathis Community Center in Detroit, check out his website, askjudgemathis.com. Thank you, Judge.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus emergency. Arizona and Texas setting new records, while over the weekend, Florida reported its biggest one-day increase in cases since the pandemic started. Victor Okendo joins us now from Miami, Florida, with more. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Michael. And you can add South Carolina to the list of states setting records over the weekend. Here in Florida, cases have been climbing for about 2 weeks, and officials are watching closely. The mayor of the city of Miami telling GMA over the weekend he would not rule out issuing another stay-at-home order if cases continue to rise.
This morning, the spread of COVID-19 showing no signs of slowing across nearly half the country. Over the weekend, 22 states reporting alarming increases in their daily number of new cases. Florida experiencing a steady climb for nearly 2 weeks, with the last 2 days topping 2,000 new cases each, seeing as high as a 35% rise between Friday and Saturday. Florida's governor explaining the rise is due to increased testing in nursing homes, agricultural communities, and prisons.
We can't just describe this to increased testing. This is a real increase in case number.
University of South Florida professor Dr. Thomas Unash says in reality, as much as 60% of the new cases can be attributed to asymptomatic spreaders. And if things don't turn around, the state could soon see more than 10,000 new cases every day.
If we continue at the rate that we're moving right now and don't really do much else, we'll probably see around 12 to 13,000 cases in the first week in July.
Nearly every beach in the Sunshine State has officially reopened. Some experts hoped the virus would struggle in the summer heat, but as the temperature has risen in some areas, so have the numbers. And in South Carolina, where tourism is on the rise, hotel occupancy rates are reportedly rebounding back to pre-pandemic levels, but the state setting back-to-back days of record cases Friday and Saturday.
I am more concerned about COVID-19 in South Carolina than I have ever been before.
Houston, the nation's fourth largest city, where restaurants opened to 75% capacity last week, reported more than 300 new cases of COVID-19 every day since, prompting officials to consider issuing another stay-in-place order. And in Dallas, more cause for concern. Despite wearing masks, gloves, and eye protection while protesting, both Catherine Boswell and Samantha Garcia tested positive.
You could just think you have allergies because you're going outside, but you could be spreading a virus. And that's my biggest thing is it's like we have to still take care of each other.
Both women are 25, part of a trend doctors have noticed in Texas. The average age of patients is dropping. But New York, once considered the epicenter of the virus, recorded its lowest numbers of deaths and hospitalizations since the beginning of the outbreak. But scenes like these from over the weekend of crowded bars and restaurants waving a red flag for the governor.
Don't think, well, now we're reopening, everything is fine. You stop doing what you're doing, you'll see those numbers